Hi, this is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Just want to pre-apologize for the quality of the following episode. There were a number of factors at issue that night we were recording. One of them being Matt Hochberg was using a speaker mic, which makes him sound very distant. And I was having trouble with my modem connection, so the broadband speed was slow, and we didn't get the quality that we normally get. And now, without further ado, here is episode 198.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, December 29, 2006, and this is episode number 198 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Hochberg of MGMstudios.org. On the show today is Mike Scopa of MassPlanet.com. Welcome, Mike.
Sebastian, that's enough now. Swim along.
Spectrum Magic Kingdom.
Very good.
I love that parade. I live for that parade. Also on the show today is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio, whom I've heard Scopa's quote numerous times. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Matt. How you doing?
Outstanding. Yeah. Also on the show is Annette Owens of MEI Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. Well, for the rest of the month of December, all 3 days that are left, we're going to be answering listener questions, so we're going to keep that going today. And our first one is from Brad, who writes, I've been trying to find a place to make hats for our family with our own Disney personalized logo on it. For copyright reasons, no one will do it. Is there a place that has a license to make hats with personalized Disney logos? Best site that I can think of is DisneyInkShop.com.
And they're calling you right now.
Deal or no deal?
Well, I know they're authorized, because I think they are Disney, and they make custom stuff on there. That's probably your best bet. Otherwise, technically, any other company doing it would probably be breaking copyright laws. I don't know, has anyone else ever used any other service?
I'd like to know what kind of hats we're talking about.
Probably just baseball hats, I guess, right? I know that when we tried making, Newell will remember this, when we were coming up with the WDW Today logo, we wanted to just have mouse ears in our logo, and Cafe Press, who makes our merchandise, would not allow it. They had these people who had you have to personally approve it, and mouse ears. Now we're putting Disney, we're putting Mickey Mouse on there, just obviously the traditional 3-year shape, and they wouldn't allow it at all. So clearly, companies are aware of the copyright laws that are out there, and they're definitely adhering to them. So I guess your best bet is the DisneyInkShop.com. Inkshop.com. We'll put a link in the show notes to that. Next email comes from Lou Spencer of Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, a.k.a. McMillan Mom, who writes, Hi, fellows. Love the show. I'm still waiting for you to add a girl to your co-host lineup. Done and done.
Hello.
Quick question. You mentioned that this week Mr. Scopa has a view of illuminations at his aptly named hotel. Every year we stay at Old Key West, and sometimes we look up and get a view of the fireworks from our unit. Here's the question. Does anybody have a complete listing of the fireworks viewable rooms for each on-property hotel? It'd be nice to have a sheet to refer to upon check-in. I know some are obvious, like rooms facing the Magic Kingdom, but some are not so obvious, like rooms at the boardwalk where one visit we could see pyrotechnics. I would imagine you could see some of the sparkles from Fantasmic from some of the rooms at the Swalfin. Anyway, I know I'm not the only one that would kill for a list like that. I don't think there's a list anywhere. Does anyone know of any, like Debsiders? There is no listing anywhere like that, is there? Anyone
Not
knows
that
about
I know of. No, not that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, some things are obvious, like Lou pointed out. I mean, obviously, if you're in a Magic Kingdom resort, like, the Polynesian, you're going to want one that faces the Magic Kingdom. Personally, guys, what do you think? I think it's kind of overrated for most of the rooms, because most of the time you're only going to be able to see the upper fireworks, like the fireworks that reach above, tree lines and they're really high up in the air. And unless you're getting really the music piped in, like, say, at the Polynesian on the beach over there, I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think that the problem that I have is that if the music isn't there, then I'm missing a big chunk of the effect of the fireworks. So as much as it's really nice to see the fireworks, if I'm not listening to the music, then there's a big component that's missing. So
I
it doesn't
agree.
do anything for me.
I watched them from the boardwalk, and you could see the upper level, so you're missing a lot of illuminations.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
the upper level. Plus, you're not hearing all the music.
yeah, that's weird how they don't pipe it in over at the boardwalk area, but they do like across the lagoon and in the Polynesian.
As far as Pop Century goes, any rooms that are facing Hourglass Lake, you should be able to see illuminations every night. And if you happen to be in the 50s, I think building 3 or 2, you might be able to see both illuminations and sorcery and wishes at the same time.
Great.
Yep.
Mark from Oregon writes to us, greetings. Several times Scopa and Testa have mentioned using cell phones for communication purposes. In 2003, we were at Walt Disney World and had a terrible time with the cell phone service to the point the phones were basically paperweights. We had contacted our cell company, which is a national company, and told us it was because there weren't many towers in Walt Disney World. Has this been remedied?
Wow,
I would say,
I'm guessing that there are more towers now than there were in 2003. I can tell you that I've gone through 3 different type of services, and I could tell you where in Walt Disney World I was in an area where I had no service at all. And one of those areas was right out front of the American Adventure. Recently, I changed my service, and I have had no problems in any spot in Walt Disney World. And do you want me to tell you the service, Matt, or do we want to put it in the show notes?
I'll say it. What do we
It's
do?
it's Verizon. I have had no problems with Verizon since I changed my service, and it's been just great.
I have to ditto that. Change service at Verizon. Beautiful.
Yeah, I switched over to them before I went to Walt Disney World, and now I'm with Verizon all of a sudden. I mean, there are dead spots, as there are almost anywhere. I mean, there's still, mostly in buildings, you'll be in somewhere maybe not underground, but, deep within the building. But in terms of public areas, walking around the parks, I never had any real problems with them. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I was going to say, here's another testament to Verizon. I was at Disney World in October, and I talked to several people while I was on Spaceship Earth for the entire ride. I was able to communicate with several people, and also Matt, in August I talked with you guys while I was on Pirates. So
That's right.
They're pretty. It's pretty dependable, pretty reliable service.
Okay, I gotta give it up to the Tower of Terror. That is the call I made during Mouse Fest to my husband. On inside and going down, so it definitely was working inside the building.
Yeah, I got a call. I got a call in Tower of Terror, and I was like, "Hold on a minute, I'm dropping." And then
Talk about a dropped call.
Oh,
You knew that was coming. Come on. Well, I appreciate everybody having Verizon Wireless, by the way. They are
next
paying my
email is
pension.
from Tim in Lawrenceville, Georgia, who writes, "Hey guys, I think some of the comparisons you made with annual passes versus regular admission were in error. Some of the comparisons you guys mentioned did not address purchasing tickets with the no expiration option, which would be required to compare to the annual pass. Also, you stated that the annual pass entitled the holder to no parking fees, but according to my experience, all resort guests do not pay parking, so that is not really a perk of the annual pass. I love the podcast. Your info is great. Please clear this up for me."
Well, if you're staying off the property, then you would need the annual pass to defray any costs of parking in any of the parking lots. I mean, you cannot assume that if someone has the annual pass that person will always be staying on property. So it is a perk that you don't have to pay for parking if you are an annual pass holder.
Yeah, although the point about the we didn't address the no expiration.
Yeah,
option.
I agree on that one. Right.
Yeah, I think we were wrong.
We overlooked.
You know how that clip of Len saying wrong. Next email is from Dave, who writes, "Hello, gentlemen. I am a new iPod owner and glad that I found your podcast to listen to on my 30-minute commute to work each day. My family and I visited Walt Disney World during the free dining promotion this year. Due to financial constraints, it may be the only way we'd be able to visit again in the near future. Was it successful enough for Walt Disney World to run promotion again next year and beyond? P.S. I am an insulin-dependent diabetic and will be sure to remember Dr. Mike's medical Dole elixir next time I'm in the Magic Kingdom and need us some sugar."
That's great.
Annette, what have you found? Why don't you tell our listeners? Dave missed an opportunity to get free dining. Why don't you give our listeners the rundown on free dining as it is for 2007 currently?
Well, there was an offer. They were experimenting a little bit a couple of months back. If you were staying on property, they were offering for you to book for a future August or September stay. You would get the free dining. So you book a Medicare way and you get the free dining. That was in a trial phase. I'm not real sure if they're still doing that. I know when I was down for Mouse Fest, I only saw one desk at one resort. I didn't see a lot of that.
What resort was that?
That was a beach club.
Okay.
It was very empty desk. The poor guy was very lonely. I don't know if anybody knew what he was there for. So it definitely wasn't advertised very well. I know we as a whole, our agency had so many clients that were very pleased with the free dining. It definitely, if you looked at any of the boards, everybody was very happy. It was a great experiment. And everybody's waiting for it to come back.
Yeah, Scott, what do you think? Do you think it'll be back next year? Or 2007, whenever?
I think that it depends upon the bookings. I really think they look about 90 days ahead to see what they've got for projected bookings, and they also look to see what the weather is like, what the projection is, and I mean, they were pretty quick to announce the free dining this year, and I think it had a lot to do with all the experts saying this was going to be the worst hurricane season in the history of mankind, and I think we had maybe 2 hurricanes, and I think they sort of jumped the gun, and they may be a little bit more hesitant to offer it next year. But we'll see. I think that with some of the changes that are going on with the dining plan, it will be really interesting to see how many people will actually be talking about the dining plan this year with the reduction of participating restaurants and also the price increase for the adults. Although I think the children's cost remains the same. Is that right, Annette?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Annette, did you have, as a travel agent, did you find like people would call up and like, oh, it's kind of more expensive than I thought, and then at some point later on, the free dining was introduced, and that kind of put people over the fence, like in terms of booking it?
For the most part, I think even with the dining plan as it is, we find that people will book the Magic Your Way, and then we start making their arrangements for their dining.
Yep.
And we start seeing where they're going to go, and we go, hey guys, the dining plan is going to cover everything you're looking at, and it's going to save you money. So, we did a lot of adding that way, but the free dining, as soon as that came out, people were definitely looking at, instead of doing a hamburger for every meal, or doing the sandwiches back in the room, definitely going to experiment a little bit around Disney World eating.
Okay, so your travel agency found it fairly, it was doing the job of getting people to come.
It was getting people to come, and it was getting people to experience a little more Disney that maybe they hadn't experienced before. I had definitely had several clients that had never sat down and had a meal at Disney World.
Wow.
Did it for the first time because of free dining.
Huh. Interesting. Well, while we're talking about free dining, here's another question for you, Annette. It comes from William from Fairfax, Virginia, who writes, great podcast. Thanks for all the great info. I have a complicated dining plan question that only Scopa and Testa's brain can help with, but I'm sure, Annette, he would have met you if he knew you were going to be asking. William writes, we're going down in January for the marathon and staying at Saratoga Springs. We have a 2-year-old and are planning on making breakfasts and lunch at the resort. However, we enjoy fine dining and have made reservations at Disney's signature restaurants for dinner. My question is, should we get the dining plan if we're mainly going to plan to use it for restaurants like Chico, Artist Point, Le Cellier, Citrico's, Flying Fish, and not take advantage of all our quick service credits? I realize these are 2 credits each, and we'll use up the plan prior to leaving the resort. Do you think that this is wise, or should I stop confusing myself and just hand Disney my wallet?
Oh my!
So, restaurants like Chico, Artist Point, Le Cellier, Citrico's, Flying Fish.
Well, it sounded like the point was talking about two sit-down services, but I don't believe that Le Cellier is 2. I know that Artist Point is 2, Chico is 2, California Grill is 2. What's his
Flying Fish.
Flying Fish is 2. Really?
Is it 2?
I didn't think it was 2.
I thought it was 1.
Yeah.
What's the one in MGM?
Brown Derby.
Brown Derby is 2. Personally, I think that it's very hard to use up all your credits when you're on the free dining, and if you have never tried those restaurants before, maybe when you're on the dining plan, it's a good time to try it. I personally don't think that some of those restaurants which require 2 sit-down credits are worth the 2 sit-down credits. But,
totally.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
It sounds like
all that other food that you get with the plan, they wouldn't be using.
Yeah, I think they're better off. William's probably better off using the Disney Dining Experience card.
Yes.
Because they're planning on eating in their resort a lot, and when they're going out to restaurants that would be a waste on the dining plan, I think. So William, invest in an annual pass and take advantage of a couple of different things.
Deal or no deal?
It's the second time I've heard that, and it's still funny.
Well, that's it for us today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or post your comments, visit the Local Home Company website at www.wdwtoday.com. For Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, Len Testa, and Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.